Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is October 23rd, 2018, and today is Tuesday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the day, at 5:20 South Africa time, we have Bank of England Governor Carney will be speaking. We'll take a look at the GBP in just a moment. Then tomorrow, just to highlight, Bank of Canada rate statement is coming out at 4 o'clock South African time, so just be aware of it. We'll take a look at the CAD and where it's been trading. Now, just a few points before we do our work on the graphs. Dollar continues to strengthen across the board. Euro GBP back on support level. Now, if we jump to the next two things, Dow Jones is actually selling off to its support level as well. So that's kind of interesting. The dollar goes up, Dow goes down. Very normal. Okay, we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Gold and oil just steady. Nothing really happening there, but we'll take a look. NASDAQ just tapers off a little bit, and that's really because Apple and Amazon are steady and not really selling off. So let's take a look and see what we can anticipate from today's trading. So we're looking here at the Euro USD. As you can see, we're back down to this 1450-ish level, selling off quite sharply yesterday, for a Monday. That's a big retracement, about 100 pips right there. So altogether, we're really back down at these lows. Now, the thing is that when we get back to these lows, it's either a point of, are we going to break out, or we're just going to test these lows again? So, without further ado, just looking at these triple bottom here, okay, as long as we hold this line, I think we could actually hold it. Now, you're going to have to look at the Dow Jones versus the Euro or the GBP, because if we do jump to the Dow Jones, like I mentioned earlier, we're looking at a daily chart here, and as you can see, we're back down to this 25 100-ish level. Nice sell-off yesterday, about 200 points. Now, this was really a layup, okay? We sold off sharply at the beginning of October. We had that dead cat bounce, and which I mentioned, coming into previous resistance, previous support, okay, also. And that was anticipatory resistance right here at 25,800-ish level, let's call it, okay? And then selling off quite sharply, very similar to what we did back in February. Okay, now you can't see that so well right there, but we sold off initially in February, we bounced, and then we sold off further. So, this further sell-off is just really, a repeat, if you will, of what happened back in February. Now, looking at today's, trading session, now this is mostly being propelled by the banks. Okay, the banks are being sold off, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank, because the banks are going to be hit the worst with these increasing interest rates. Okay, so, when the interest rates raise, it costs people money to actually borrow money. They're less expected to borrow money, and as such, less business is coming to the bank. So, with that said, going to have to keep a very sharp eye here to see what we can anticipate from the market, and whether we can anticipate a further correction on the downside. So I would look at the Dow Jones and look at the euro to see that they're trading in tandem. GBP USD also sold off sharply. We're below the 130 level, really a nosedive yesterday, below this 130 level to 129.61, and it looks like it's setting itself up, back to its lows here at 129. So, same story here. Okay, we're at its lows. Is this going to correct itself further down? You're going to have to keep an eye on that as well. USD Swiss franc, the dollar getting stronger against the Swiss franc on the top of its range right here. So this is really a resistance level. So everything is really trading in tandem. Okay, we're all, just seeing, different direction, what's going to take out first in this, kind of tug of war between the interest rates and the indices. Looking at the Aussie USD, sold off also. We're still in our sell-off channel. Nothing really new here. Just not trading at our lows, just trading just shy of our lows on the daily chart, as you could see here. But still, room to go down further. So keep an eye on that as that continues. USD CAD, we're at resistance here at 131.19 against the dollar. Now remember, this has had a little bit of a tug of war in relations to the price of oil. Canada is affected tremendously by the price of oil. So this is kind of interesting to see what will happen tomorrow if rate decisions are not going to be in favor of, the market. Is it going to sell off here? So that might actually happen. So take a look at that. Okay, especially if we do have a breakout on the upside, it's momentum. Okay, you're looking for some momentum in either direction. Now, gold's been kind of steady here at 1224, just trading between this really tight range between 1230 and 1220, and we're right smack in the middle of that. It looked like it was heading itself like a bull flag, but I would still consider this to be a bull flag. I think we have, if the Dow Jones sells off and continues to sell off, I believe the gold will continue to rally. Now, jumping into the other indices, the DAX also on its low, 11,523. Asian markets really couldn't rally yesterday, in anticipation. Now, if we jump to the NASDAQ, it's lower, but not on its lows. Okay, we're looking at a 1-hour chart here. If we look, jump into a 4-hour chart, you can see that a little bit more clearly. Not back to its bottom lows. Okay, so some relative strength there, if you will. That the Nasdaq is holding its own. Apple trading at 220. Okay, if the markets continue to sell off, I would have expected Apple to be trading at 1210-ish level, 1214, and it's not. So relative strength there. So if the market does turn around, Apple would be anticipatory to, bounce. Facebook, same story, on its lows, but not breaking lower, at least not yet. Okay, so keep that in mind as this continues to trade throughout the day. Lastly, Amazon, bouncing a little bit here at 1791, not breaking out lower as well. So this is something to keep an eye out. All right, any kind of bounce in the markets could, bring way for a short squeeze on the upside. So be aware of that. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.